Have you ever found yourself staring at the ceiling at 3 in the morning, wondering why your life feels like a puzzle with missing pieces? Why certain challenges keep showing up, no matter how hard you try to avoid them? Why some people walk into your life and feel like they've been there forever, while others, despite years of connection, remain strangers to your soul? If you've ever felt this way, I want you to know that you're not alone, and more importantly, you're not broken. What you're experiencing might be something far more profound than you've ever imagined. You see, there's a growing understanding among spiritual teachers, researchers, and millions of people worldwide that our souls don't just randomly stumble into this earthly experience. Instead, they carefully choose every aspect of our lives before we're born, like a master artist selecting the perfect canvas, colors, and brushstrokes for their next masterpiece. Think about it for a moment. Have you ever met someone and felt an instant, inexplicable connection, as if you'd known them in another lifetime? Or perhaps you found yourself naturally gifted at something you'd never been taught, as though the knowledge was already embedded deep within your being. Maybe you've experienced what others call coincidences that were so perfectly timed, so remarkably aligned, that they felt more like gentle nudges from the universe itself. These aren't random occurrences or wishful thinking. They're breadcrumbs left by your soul, gentle reminders of the sacred contract you made before taking your first breath in this world. Your soul, in its infinite wisdom, knew exactly what lessons it needed to learn, what gifts it came here to share, and yes, even what challenges it would need to face to grow into the magnificent being you're becoming. I know this might sound overwhelming, or perhaps even a little frightening. If our souls chose our lives, does that mean we're responsible for every difficult moment, every heartbreak, every struggle? And if that's true, why would we choose pain? Why would we willingly sign up for rejection, loss, or seemingly insurmountable obstacles? The answer lies in understanding that our souls see far beyond what our human minds can comprehend. While our earthly perspective focuses on comfort and avoiding pain, our souls understand that growth, wisdom, and unconditional love can only be cultivated through experience. Just as a muscle grows stronger through resistance, our souls expand through the beautiful, messy, challenging journey of being human. But here's what's truly remarkable. Recognizing that your soul chose this life doesn't mean you're powerless, or that everything is predetermined. Quite the opposite. It means you're here with purpose, with gifts that only you can offer, and with a unique mission that no one else can fulfill. It means that every person you've met, every door that's opened or closed, every moment of joy and every tear you've shed has been part of a carefully orchestrated symphony designed to awaken you to who you truly are. You might be wondering how you could possibly know if your soul really did choose this life. How can you tell the difference between random life events and soul-guided experiences? The truth is, your soul has been leaving you signs all along, like a loving parent leaving notes in your lunchbox. These signs aren't hidden in ancient texts or accessible only to mystics and spiritual teachers. They're woven into the fabric of your everyday life, waiting for you to notice them with new eyes. Some of these signs might surprise you. That recurring dream that's visited you since childhood, the one that feels more real than your waking life. That could be your soul's memory of the planning session before your birth. Those people who push your buttons in the most specific ways, triggering reactions you didn't even know you had. They might be soul contracts, agreements made with other souls to help each other grow. That inexplicable pull towards certain places, ideas, or causes that makes no logical sense, but feels absolutely right in your bones. Your soul remembering its mission. And what about those moments when you feel completely lost? When nothing makes sense, and you wonder if you took a wrong turn somewhere? Even these experiences serve your soul's highest purpose. Sometimes we need to get completely lost to find ourselves. Sometimes we need to have everything we thought we wanted stripped away to discover what we truly need. If you're someone who's always felt a little different, a little too sensitive for this world, or like you're searching for something you can't quite name, you're in good company. Many souls who chose to incarnate during these transformative times on Earth are what we might call old souls, or awakening souls. You came here not just for your own growth, but to help humanity evolve, to bring more love and consciousness to a world that desperately needs it. The beautiful thing about recognizing these soul signs is that it changes everything about how you see your life. Suddenly, you're not a victim of circumstances, but a powerful soul having a human experience. You're not lost. You're exactly where you need to be. You're not broken. You're becoming. Every challenge becomes a chosen curriculum. Every person who's hurt you becomes a teacher, and every moment of doubt becomes an invitation to remember who you really are. But recognizing these signs is just the beginning. The real magic happens when you start living in alignment with your soul's purpose, when you begin to see your life as the sacred journey it was always meant to be, when you understand that your struggles have meaning, your gifts have purpose, and your presence on this planet matters more than you could ever imagine. This isn't about perfectionism or having all the answers. It's about coming home to yourself, about remembering that you are both human and divine, both student and teacher, both seeker and sought. It's about recognizing that your soul didn't choose this life to punish you or test you, but to love you so deeply that it was willing to experience separation from its true home, just to help you remember who you are. As we explore these profound signs together, I invite you to approach them with an open heart and a curious mind. Notice which ones resonate deeply with you, which ones make you feel seen and understood in a way you've rarely experienced. Pay attention to the emotions that come up, the memories that surface, and the knowing that might arise from somewhere deeper than thought. If this conversation feels like coming home, if these words are stirring something ancient and familiar within you, then you're part of a growing community of souls who are awakening to their true purpose. This journey of recognition and remembrance is so much more meaningful when we walk it together, supporting each other, sharing our experiences, and celebrating the beautiful diversity of soul missions represented in our human family. I'd love for you to be part of this awakening community. When you subscribe to this channel, you're not just signing up for more videos, you're joining a movement of conscious souls who are ready to live their lives with greater purpose, deeper meaning, and more authentic connection to their true selves. Together, we can create the kind of world our souls dreamed of when they chose to be here now, in this extraordinary time of transformation. So take a deep breath, settle in, and prepare to see your life through the eyes of your soul. What you're about to discover might just change everything. There's something I need to share with you, something that's been weighing on my heart for far too long. It's about the whispers you've been hearing in the quiet moments, the ones that speak of a deeper truth about why you're here, why your life has unfolded exactly as it has, and why certain experiences feel like they were written in your soul's DNA before you ever took your first breath. I know you felt it, that strange sensation when you meet certain people, as if time stops and your soul recognizes something ancient and familiar, the way your heart races not with excitement, but with a profound knowing that this encounter was orchestrated by forces beyond your understanding. These aren't coincidences, my friend. They're soul recognitions, meetings that were planned in the sacred space between lifetimes, contracts signed in love and witnessed by the universe itself. Maybe you've dismissed these feelings, told yourself you're being overly romantic or spiritual. Our rational minds love to explain away the miraculous, don't they? But deep down, in the quiet chambers of your heart, you know there's something more. You've always known. It's why you sometimes feel homesick for a place you've never been, why certain songs bring tears to your eyes for reasons you can't explain, why some strangers feel like family and some family members feel like strangers. Your soul chose this life, chose this exact combination of circumstances, relationships, challenges, and gifts, because it knew that this particular human experience would offer the precise curriculum needed for your spiritual evolution. Every person who has ever hurt you, loved you, left you, or stayed with you through the storms was carefully selected by your soul as part of this grand design. Even the ones who caused you the deepest pain, especially those ones, because our souls understand that sometimes love comes disguised as difficulty. I see you there, perhaps shaking your head, wondering how you could have possibly chosen the heartbreak that nearly destroyed you, the betrayal that changed everything, the loss that left you gasping for air in a world that suddenly felt foreign and cold. Trust me, I understand this resistance. When I first encountered this truth, I raged against it. How dare anyone suggest that I chose the abandonment that defined my childhood, the rejection that carved deep wounds into my sense of self-worth, the loneliness that felt like a constant companion whispering lies about my lovability. But here's what I've come to understand through years of searching, healing, and finally accepting. Our souls don't choose experiences to punish us. They choose them to free us. Every wound you've carried has been carving space in your heart for a deeper capacity to love. Every rejection has been preparing you to recognize authentic acceptance when it arrives. Every moment you felt lost has been teaching you to trust your inner compass, to find your way back to yourself again and again. You know those recurring dreams you've been having since childhood, the ones that feel more real than your waking life, where you're in places that don't exist on any map but feel like home? Those aren't just dreams, they're memories. Memories of the planning phase, glimpses of the soul realm where you sat in council with other souls, mapping out this lifetime with the care and precision of architects designing a cathedral. Every major relationship, every significant challenge, every opportunity for growth was discussed and agreed upon with infinite love and wisdom. And those inexplicable fears that seem to have no basis in your current life experience, the terror of deep water when you've never had a drowning incident, the panic around abandonment that feels far too intense for your actual experiences, the claustrophobia that makes no logical sense. These are soul memories, echoes from other lifetimes that your eternal self carries as wisdom, not trauma. Your soul remembers what your mind has forgotten, and sometimes these memories surface as seemingly irrational fears to guide you away from repeating old patterns or to help you recognize when healing is needed. There's something else I need you to know, something about the way certain places call to your soul. Maybe it's a country you've never visited but dream about constantly, a landscape that appears in your art or writing without conscious intention, or a culture that fascinates you beyond reason. These aren't random attractions. They're soul memories of home bases, places where you've lived other lifetimes or spent time between incarnations. Your soul recognizes the energetic signature of these places, the way a traveler recognizes landmarks on a familiar journey. The most beautiful sign, though, is the way certain gifts have shown up in your life without explanation. That ability to understand people's emotions before they speak them, to create art that moves others to tears, to heal with your words or your touch, to see solutions that others miss entirely. These aren't talents you developed through practice alone. They're soul gifts, abilities you've cultivated over multiple lifetimes and chose to bring with you as tools for your mission in this one. But perhaps the most profound indicator is the way your life has been shaped by what I call divine redirections. Those moments when doors slam shut, just when you thought you knew where you were going, when plans fall apart so completely that you have no choice but to trust a different path, when relationships end just as you were getting comfortable, forcing you to face yourself more honestly, when careers that looked perfect on paper leave you feeling empty and searching for something you can't name. These aren't failures or cosmic jokes. They're your soul's way of keeping you on track, ensuring you don't get too comfortable in situations that would prevent your growth. I remember the day I realized that every person who had ever said no to me, every door that had been closed in my face, every rejection that had felt like a personal attack, was actually my soul's protective mechanism. Each no was redirecting me toward my true path, clearing away the distractions and false starts so I could find my way to what was truly mine. The job I didn't get led me to the career that became my passion. The relationship that ended in heartbreak opened my heart to a love I never could have imagined. The friendship that dissolved revealed the toxic patterns I needed to heal within myself. Your soul also chose your sensitivity as a superpower, even though the world has probably told you it's a weakness. That overwhelming empathy that makes you feel everyone's emotions as if they were your own. The way you can sense tension in a room before anyone speaks. The ability to love so deeply it sometimes feels dangerous. These aren't flaws to be fixed. They're divine instruments, finely tuned receivers that allow you to serve as a bridge between the spiritual and physical worlds. Your sensitivity is your soul's way of staying connected to the higher frequencies of love and truth, even while navigating the denser energies of human existence. And those moments when you feel like you don't belong anywhere, when you look around at the world and wonder how everyone else seems to have gotten the manual for being human that you somehow missed. That feeling of being an outsider looking in isn't a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that you're a soul who chose to incarnate during a time of great transition on Earth, here not just for your own evolution but to help humanity evolve. You're feeling different because you are different, carrying frequencies of love and consciousness that are newer to this planet but desperately needed for our collective healing. The loneliness you've felt throughout your life, that deep ache of not being fully understood or seen, isn't a punishment. It's been preparing you to appreciate soul-level connection when it arrives, teaching you to find completeness within yourself first so you can love others from overflow rather than need. Every night you've spent feeling alone in a crowded room has been developing your capacity for authentic intimacy, teaching you the difference between being seen and being truly known. I want you to understand something about the timing of your awakening to these truths. You're reading these words now because your soul knows you're ready to stop seeing your life as a series of random events and start recognizing the masterful orchestration behind every experience. Ready to stop being a victim of circumstances and start being the conscious participant in your soul's journey that you've always been, whether you knew it or not. This recognition changes everything, doesn't it? Suddenly you're not broken or unlucky or cosmically cursed. You're a brave soul who chose one of the most challenging and transformative times in human history to be here, to contribute your unique gifts to humanity's evolution. You're not too sensitive. You're perfectly calibrated. You're not behind in life. You're exactly on time. You're not missing something everyone else has. You're carrying something most people have forgotten. The healing begins when you can look at your life story not as a tragedy or a comedy of errors, but as a hero's journey, a sacred pilgrimage that your soul embarked upon with infinite love for who you could become. Every chapter, even the ones written in tears, years has been necessary. Every character who played a role, even the ones who seemed like villains, have been teachers in disguise. As you sit with this truth, notice what shifts inside you. Notice how your relationship with your past begins to change, how your understanding of your present challenges evolves, how your vision for your future expands. This isn't just spiritual theory. It's a remembrance of who you are at the deepest level, a coming home to your soul's truth. If these words have stirred something ancient and familiar within you, if you feel like someone has finally spoken to the part of you that has always known there was more to your story than meets the eye, then you're part of a growing community of souls who are awakening to their true purpose. This journey of remembrance and recognition is so much richer when we walk it together, supporting each other as we peel away the layers of forgetting and step into the fullness of who we came here to be. Consider joining this community of awakening souls by subscribing, not just for more content, but to be part of a movement of consciousness that your soul helped choose to participate in long before you ever knew these words existed. There comes a moment in every awakening soul's journey when the veil becomes so thin you can almost touch the truth of who you really are, and I suspect that moment might be happening for you right now, as you read these words and feel something deep within your chest expanding, like a flower that has been waiting its entire existence to finally bloom. This isn't just intellectual understanding we're talking about. This is soul recognition, the kind of knowing that bypasses your mind entirely and lands directly in the sacred chamber of your heart, where your deepest truths have been patiently waiting for you to remember them. You've been carrying this knowledge all along, haven't you? Even in your darkest moments, even when you felt most lost and abandoned, there was always a small voice whispering that there was more to your story than the pain you were experiencing. That voice wasn't hope or wishful thinking. It was your soul, gently reminding you that every tear you've cried, every struggle you've endured, every moment of confusion and despair has been part of a carefully orchestrated symphony designed to awaken you to the magnificent being you've always been, but perhaps forgotten you were. Living in alignment with your soul's chosen path isn't about suddenly having all the answers or never feeling lost again. It's about developing a different relationship with the mystery of your existence, learning to trust that even when you can't see the next step, you're always being guided by a wisdom far greater than your human mind could ever comprehend. It's about understanding that your soul didn't choose this life to make it easy for you. It chose it to make you free. And sometimes freedom requires walking through fires that burn away everything you thought you needed, until only what you truly are remains. I remember the first time I truly understood this, really understood it in my bones rather than just as a beautiful concept. I was sitting in my car after what felt like the 1000th disappointment, another door closing just when I thought I had found my way, another relationship ending just when I had dared to believe in forever, another dream crumbling just when I thought I had figured out my purpose. I was angry, so angry at the universe, at God, at whatever force seemed to be playing cosmic jokes with my life. And then, in that moment of complete surrender to my rage and grief, something shifted. I suddenly saw my entire life as if from above, saw the perfect orchestration of every heartbreak leading me away from paths that would have kept me small, every closed door redirecting me toward something greater than I could have imagined, every ending making space for new beginnings that my limited vision couldn't have conceived. That's when I realized that living in alignment with your soul's path isn't about controlling your life or manifesting specific outcomes. It's about developing such profound trust in your soul's wisdom that you can dance with uncertainty, that you can find peace in the spaces between knowing and not knowing, that you can love your life even when it looks nothing like what you thought you wanted. It's about understanding that your soul sees centuries where you see moments, sees healing where you see hurt, sees preparation where you see punishment. The beauty of this awakening is that it transforms everything, even the experiences you once labeled as mistakes or failures. That relationship that broke your heart so completely you thought you might never recover. Your soul chose that person to show you parts of yourself you needed to heal, to teach you about love in ways that comfort never could. That job you lost just when you needed it most. Your soul was redirecting you away from a path that would have kept you trapped in someone else's vision for your life. That friend who betrayed you so deeply it changed your ability to trust. Your soul arranged that experience to teach you the difference between betrayal and disappointment, between authentic connection and projection. But here's what I wish someone had told me earlier in this journey. Embracing your soul's path doesn't mean you have to be grateful for every painful experience or pretend that hurt doesn't matter. Your human self is allowed to grieve, to feel angry, to rage against the unfairness of certain experiences. Your soul chose these experiences, but your human heart is allowed to process them honestly, to feel the full weight of their impact. The integration happens when you can hold both truths simultaneously. This experience served my soul's growth, and it also caused real pain that deserves to be acknowledged and healed. Living in alignment means learning to listen to the subtle guidance that's always been there, but that you might have dismissed as intuition or gut feelings. It's that sudden knowing about which direction to turn, which opportunity to pursue, which person to trust or distance yourself from. Your soul speaks to you constantly through these inner knowings, through synchronicities that feel too perfect to be coincidental, through dreams that carry messages your conscious mind couldn't formulate, through the way certain choices feel light and expansive while others feel heavy and contractive. The most profound shift happens when you stop asking the universe to give you what you want and start asking to be shown what your soul needs for its highest evolution. This isn't passive resignation. It's the most empowered way you can live, because you're aligning yourself with forces that have your ultimate well-being as their only agenda. When you live from this place, obstacles become guidance, delays become divine timing, and endings become doorways to experiences that exceed anything your limited human imagination could have requested. I've watched people transform completely when they make this shift from victim consciousness to soul consciousness. The same person who once felt cursed by their circumstances begins to see the perfect orchestration behind every experience. The same person who felt lost and purposeless begins to recognize the unique gifts they came here to share, the specific healing they came to offer, the particular frequency of love they came to anchor on this planet. The same person who felt like a spiritual orphan begins to understand that they're part of a vast family of souls who chose to incarnate during this remarkable time in human history to participate in the greatest transformation our species has ever experienced. But perhaps the most beautiful aspect of living in alignment with your soul's chosen path is the way it changes your relationship with yourself. You stop trying to fix yourself and start celebrating the perfect imperfection of your human experience. You stop comparing your journey to others and start honoring the unique curriculum your soul selected. You stop waiting for permission to be who you are and start living from the truth of your eternal nature while fully embracing your temporary human form. This doesn't mean life becomes easy or that you never feel confused or overwhelmed again. It means that even in the confusion, you trust. Even in the overwhelming moments, you remember that you're being held by a love so vast it chose to experience separation from itself just to remember its own infinite nature through your eyes, through your heart, through your beautifully messy human experience. The freedom that comes from this understanding is unlike anything else. When you truly know that your soul chose this life with infinite love and wisdom, when you understand that every person who has entered your story was invited by your own eternal self, when you recognize that every challenge has been a gift in disguise and every gift has been preparing you for greater service, then you're free to love your life exactly as it is while remaining open to its continued unfolding. This is what it means to live as both human and divine, to honor your earthly experience while never forgetting your cosmic nature. This is what it means to be awake in a world that has forgotten its dreaming, to remember love in a reality that often feels defined by separation, to anchor light in places that have known primarily darkness. As you sit with these reflections, notice what's stirring within you. Notice how your relationship with your past begins to soften, how your anxiety about the future begins to dissolve into curiosity, how your presence in this moment becomes more vivid and alive. This is what happens when you align with your soul's truth. Life becomes less about getting somewhere and more about recognizing that you've always been exactly where you needed to be. If this conversation has opened something within you, if you feel like you've been having a dialogue with a part of yourself that you've been searching for your entire life, then you're ready to continue this journey of awakening and remembrance. The path of soul alignment is one we walk together, supporting each other as we peel away the layers of forgetting and step into the fullness of our divine human experience. Consider joining this community of awakening souls who gather here to explore these profound truths, not just for more insights, but to be part of a conscious collective that your soul helped choose to participate in long before you ever knew such a community existed.